Hello, empaths. This is Dr. Eileen with Empath Heart Healing, and this is your Empath Heart Healing encouragement tips for the Empath Collective for the week of October 3rd through 9th, 2021. I hope you all are doing well. I hope you had a beautiful week, and I hope that this week just proves to be amazing for you, where you just are experiencing growth and self-love and integration of all that you're learning in beautiful ways. Empath Heart Healing exists to help those people who identify as empaths just, feel supported, feel seen, feel known, recognized, understood, heard. We're here to support you and just give you tips that make this life easier, because being an empath is certainly not for the weak. We are extremely energy sensitive. Many of us are very psychic. Many of us have been intuitive since we were very young, and we're often placed in families that maybe don't quite get us or understand us. So Empath Heart Healing, www.empathhearthealing.com is a website and resource to assist the empaths of the world. And these weekly tips are just designed to give you a quick little energy boost and help you feel seen and known, and maybe navigate the empath experience a little bit easier. This may be helpful for others who consider themselves to be energy sensitive types, but the tips are specifically designed to help the empath collective. So today we're going to be talking about understanding family of origin, and why is it so hard, especially when you're a little young empath, being in a family where it feels like maybe they just don't get you. They don't have the same sensitivity to lights or food or smells or environments or situations. Why is it that you are always feeling a certain way? Maybe you get headaches when you're around certain people, or chaos and drama seems to create maybe physical pain, or you just don't feel like you're seen. Maybe you are accused or were accused of being too sensitive and too dramatic and, too emotional. Why is it that we find ourselves in families that don't seem to understand us? And of course, everyone's going to have their own experience, but what I perceive is that when you're placed in a family that loves you, but they don't necessarily get you, there's a great learning curve that happens from the time we're very young. Obviously, we're not born with a playbook. It's not like we get, we're born with a manual that teaches us how to do this empath thing. It's kind of a trial and error experience where, as you go through your life, all of the highs and the lows, the good and the bad, the joys, the sorrows, the pain, the betrayals, they teach us, and we integrate how to do life, and we navigate life with a better understanding of who we are. I think for many empaths, we ultimately realize no matter what we've been through, no matter how much pain or sadness or discouragement or whatever, we still want to show up. We can't help it. We want to still make the world a better place. We'd like to do our very best if we can. And so the early childhood experiences with various family members help us learn the global archetypes, the different kinds of archetypes that exist in the world: the narcissistic personality, the codependent personality, the backbiters, the haters, the whiners and the complainers, the passive personalities, passive aggressive personalities. Usually our family of origin is a mixed bag of these types of individuals. You might have grown up in a wonderful family, but for most empaths, we either had some cousins or some uncles. Maybe it was a primary parent, caregiver, grandparent. Somebody made life difficult, or it may have been babysitters or neighbors or, friends in the neighborhood, people in the neighborhood that just, they demonstrate sort of the global archetypes that we might consider dysfunctional. So that's our very first, I guess, teaching ground, if you will, interacting with these difficult personalities, drama-based personalities, the alcoholic personalities, the ones that are passive aggressive or use power and control dynamics, whatever it is, as little empaths in families that have these archetypes in them. This is how we learn to navigate the personalities and ultimately be assertive. We learn how to communicate with these types of people. We learn how to set boundaries with these types of people. We learn how to go into our cocoon when necessary so that we can heal and recharge and replenish. We recognize that we need to sometimes get away from the energy vampires. All of this is learned in childhood. So understanding family of origin as an empath is really a very, very important aspect of navigating the empath journey and becoming the best version of yourself. The family of origin that we're born into really does help heal the wounded healer. Even though there's a ton of dysfunction quite often in the families of empaths, we learn compassion by giving ourselves self-compassion. We learn forgiveness by learning to forgive ourselves. We learn to love others by learning to love ourselves. So as an empath, you know, it's not uncommon to have imposter syndrome or question, why do I feel this way? What's wrong with me? Is something wrong with me? Why am I feeling depressed? Why am I feeling maybe suicidal or overwhelmed? What is all of this? And recognizing that a lot of the time you're just picking up on the emotional intensity of others in your environment. And it often will create self-doubt and we'll question ourselves. So part of the journey is learning to recognize that whatever is going on with me, I'm going to give myself compassion. And then that expands your capacity to give compassion to others. Whatever's going on with me, I'm just going to love myself through it. And then we show up and we're able to love so many other people with a love that's really, you know, incomparable to the way other people love. Empaths love big, they love hard, they love with a purity that is really capable of great healing. And then understanding our family of origin helps us to release people-pleasing tendencies, because it's natural, you know, when you grow up in a family, especially as an empath, to want to please early caregivers. But because of the dysfunction that we often experience, you know, there's this cognitive dissonance, because it's like, I'm trying to please this person who's never able to be pleased because they're so hard on me, or they're so judgmental, or they're so critical, or they've got certain things going on in their personality that they are not going to be pleased no matter what I do. And that's part of the growth experience for the empath, realizing that even if I don't please early caregivers, even if they don't understand me, even if they're disappointed in me, I still have worth, I still have value, and I'm going to show up as the best I can. I'm going to do my very best, and I'm going to forget the rest. I'm going to cut out what no longer serves. And that's really hard when it's a parent or a grandparent or an aunt and an uncle with high expectations that they don't feel you are meeting. Because, you know, as an empath, you want to be with animals, or you want to be out in the environment, you want to connect with nature. You'd rather be at the ocean or the beach than working on the family business. Not because the family business isn't important to you, but you are seeing through a completely different lens, and you're living from the heart space, and you're connecting with the electromagnetic frequencies of the earth. You're feeling nature, the trees, the wind, everything's speaking to you, and you're integrating who you are. And you're recognizing that you're not just here, you know, to do superficial things or to just make money. Making money is great. Having a nice house is great. Wearing nice clothes and going out and being your personal best, all of that is wonderful. But for the empath, that will never, ever be enough. That doesn't satisfy the soul. What satisfies the soul is giving back, feeling like you're aligned with the planet, connected with the planet, and that there's a beautiful reciprocal relationship between you and the planet, where you honor the planet and then the planet also honors you. So learning to let go of people pleasing, learning to balance out the fact that even if you're not understood in your family of origin, you know, you can still show up the best that you can and love them and honor them without the need to people please. So the next thing is, so we talked about family of origin. Now I want to talk about you being the catalyst. You as an empath, you are a catalyst for so many amazing things. And this helps your journey just get stronger. When you recognize and own, you are a catalyst for family healing. That's why you were placed in your family. That's why you were born into this family. You're not little, you're not nothing, you're not insignificant, you're not small. You are a very integral, important component to your particular family. Even if you were adopted in, whatever family you are a part of, you're there for a reason and you are a catalyst for change, whether they realize it or not. So as the catalyst, you inspire and activate generational healing. You also have the ability with your intentions, your meditations, your prayers, your integrity, and your authenticity to create ancestral repatterning. You single-handed by yourself can create generational healing, ancestral patterning, and restoration of gifts and talents that are unique to your family lineage that have felt like they might have been lost, but actually they're embedded in your DNA and they just need to be activated. That is part of your role, empaths, to help heal your family line and to help extract the beauty and the gifts and the blessings that are specific to your family lineage. You're the one carrying the torch. You're the bridge between the ancestors and the ancients and the current family line. And oftentimes it's you that the family's been waiting for, even if they don't realize it. Part of your path is to wake up into understanding all that you are and realize you are a catalyst for great change, not just in this world, on this planet, but with your own family. The next thing I want to talk about is transition. Great transition occurs for you, dear empath, once you allow yourself to no longer need family approval. So respecting family, honoring the dignity of family, having high family values is different than groveling to people please or minimizing yourself to please others. The moment you transition into being your own individual person with gratitude for your family and all that they've taught and all that they've modeled and all that they've shared, but without a need to people please, without a need to be a robot or a mini me, you know, or a fake persona just to please mom and dad or grandma and grandpa. You know, when you own who you are and you accept yourself to be undeniably who you are, unapologetically, that's when great transition happens for you, where you go from being sort of a insecure baby little empath that doesn't know who they are and is scared of everything and totally sensitive to all the energies, to being a very strong, empowered, solid light worker and way shower who is clear about who you are and your gifts and your talents, and, you know, honoring the knowing. It's sacred self-honor. So that beautiful transition period begins to happen when you stop people pleasing. Also, that transition occurs when you move only from love and power. So no longer moving from insecurity or a need to be something that you're not, inauthenticity, fake persona, or minimizing your gifts and talents to just feel accepted. When you own who you are and you only move from the space of love and power, that is, in other words, having an empowered knowing of who you are, great transition happens. It can be like night and day, quantum leaps from being very young emotionally and cognitively to being very mature and very seasoned and very evolved and very solid. So when we say power, we're talking about your authenticity. it's that healing that exudes from your being, right? Because you've done the work, that beautiful healing that exudes from you. It just pours out of your pores. It emanates from you with each breath, moment to moment. That's your power. Confusion, on the other hand, which is the opposite of you being in your empowered state, that's the byproduct of not accepting who you are and what you are. So when you're still in that confused state of what is it to be an empath, and I don't know if I like this, and why do I have to be born like this? Why me? Why didn't God and the universe choose someone else? That confusion is the byproduct of not owning who you are, and that keeps us stuck, and we're not able to really experience true growth and expansion. So owning your power is accepting your role as a beautiful instrument in the creative collaboration with God and the universe, or whatever you believe in, higher self, nature, creation, whatever words you would use to describe what we call the source of everything. You are in creative collaboration with that. And you're very, very important. Your role on this planet is very, very important. Never forget that. Be greatly encouraged and know that your essence, your authenticity, your integrity inspire so many people. The only people that resent you or don't understand, why why do you even care about the planet? Why aren't you more selfish? The people that really don't get your level of integrity, they're energy vampires. And, quite often users or takers, or at least jaded and bitter. They may not totally be energy vampires, but they might be a little jaded or a little bit bitter, and they might have a dog eat dog kind of attitude, or I'm going to get mine. I've got to trample over, power over structure. They may use power and control as their primary communication techniques. They move through the world totally differently than you. And this is why we don't want to bother with people pleasing. The sooner we can get over the need to people please, and the sooner we can get over the fact that there are people that move through the world very differently. Their consciousness is very different. They don't necessarily move through the world the way we do. They don't see things the way we see. They're not looking through the lens of love. They're not necessarily moving from the heart space. They're not practicing sacred self-honor. They're not meditating. They're not praying. They're not communing with nature. They're not aligned with, the frequency of the planet, our Earth. The sooner we accept the fact that there are people that move through the world very differently, not that empaths are better than anyone. It's a consciousness thing, and it's also an acceptance of your truth kind of thing. And when you accept who you are unapologetically, great transition happens. So these are your encouragement tips for the week of October 3rd through the 9th. Recognize your role in your family of origin, understand the various archetypes are preparing you for the work that you are going to do, your soul work and offerings on the planet. Recognize that you are a great catalyst for incredible family healing in the here and now, as well as generational healing and ancestral repatterning and restoration. Great transition occurs when you own who you are and you let go of people pleasing and you move only from love and power. I hope this is helpful, dear empaths. Have a very beautiful week. Thank you for showing up. We see you, we witness you. Thank you so much. Blessings.